Good afternoon. I hope this is working. I haven't done this before, so I think I'm set up and running. Thank you very much for joining and for listening. Peter has asked me to start off with his normal greeting on our YouTube channel, but I'm not going to. Sorry. Anyway, quick introduction. I'm Charlotte Chilcott. I'm one of the directors at Aardvark McLeod and Peter's business partner. And like everybody here, fishing is what I love, what I do. And being able to chat about it is just a pleasure, which I suspect most people don't get to do as often as they'd like to. I wanted to really just talk about going to Bolivia, which I managed to do in July of last year. I've wanted to go for years, absolutely donkey's years, when I first saw a photograph of a pacu. And I had no idea what it was, how to catch it, nothing. But anyway, it took me a while to get to Bolivia. I finally made it. And I flew down to Agua Negra in July last year. And it is remarkably easy to get there from anywhere in Europe, from the States. And I think it's one of those trips which, if you can do, you should do. Because fishing in the jungle is so very different to anything else which I've done. And I have done some weird stuff. I've enjoyed fishing in Cameroon. I absolutely love fishing in Tanzania, and the Seychelles, of course, is somewhere I go every November. But the jungle and Tsimane was so very different that, yeah, I'd go back in a heartbeat if I could. And I just think that if it's on your bucket list, make it happen. It's a good time at the moment with the dollar being quite so weak, and money goes a little bit further. Certainly if you're paying in pounds, it does. Anyway, getting there, as I said, straightforward. You fly into Santa Cruz. You can overnight in Las Torribos, which is a fabulous hotel in the middle of Santa Cruz. It's very easy. Do fly in, though, the night before. Please don't try to arrive at 3 o'clock in the morning, which you can do, because if anything goes a bit weird, you may not make your flight, and there is only one a week. So it is quite important to get your flights right, get your timing right. And Ollie asked me what I had found so special about Bolivia. I think it was simply that nobody goes. You're so lucky to be able to be there. It's so remote, it's so untouched. And yes, there are anglers going through what is a relatively long season that runs from May to October. But the numbers of people make it an absolute privilege to be able to see those crystal clear waters and do your best to fish them. Now, I'm not known for being particularly nimble, and I'm definitely not stealthy. And fishing any of the rivers in the Tsimane area, whether you're fishing from Pluma or Secure or Agua Negra, there are tributaries which mean you have to be stealthy. You've got to be accurate. Your casting's got to be good, and you need good fish eyes. But the water's so clear, and a lot of the resident fish are used to seeing flies, so they're clever. They know what you're going to do. They've seen it all before. You've got to get your fly in the right place. So my Barnes Wallis approach to casting occasionally really wasn't going to work very much. So I did put in a chunky amount of fishing practice before I went, and it did pay off. And it is worthwhile doing. Make a point of doing it, and you reap the benefits. I think that Agua Negra was special because it's very small. It's only 4 rods, and you fish the main Secure, and you have the tributaries, 2 tributaries to fish, one of which, of course, is the Agua Negra. And while we were there, we were really unlucky. We had a bit of a cold front. I've never been so cold in my life. And it put the fish down. But what it did prove is that how quickly the fishing changes, even with a small increase in temperature. Suddenly the fishing was back on, and it was fabulous, and the jungle came to life. It was noisy. what had been sort of quite quiet because the birds were all tucked up, keeping warm, was just magical. It really, really was. And it's not just about the fishing. It's about everything else that you hear and you see. The bird life is phenomenal, and I get into trouble everywhere I go for maybe spending a little too long birding and not as much time fishing as I should. But hey ho. The bird life, as I said, was really phenomenal. But we saw honey bears, we saw wild pigs, carcasses of caiman which had been eaten by probably a big cat. We saw lots of spoor, and all around, this is all just happening around you while you're either walking up the river or if you're moving in one of the local canoes. And it's just extraordinary, really extraordinary feeling. It's also a little bit counterintuitive in a sense when you see feeding Dorado on the surface, because your instinct, having been sneaking around and trying to put your flies exactly where they needed to be and really gently, suddenly you're putting your fly basically right in the middle of a feeding pack of Dorado, and it doesn't seem right, but it's extraordinary to experience, as you'll see a big head come in and whoopsie, the water nearly went. Big head come in and chase down your fly, and another one comes over the top of it and they push it out of the way. It's a little bit like GT's feeding, to be honest. You know, occasionally, if you're really unlucky, you've put your fly into a group of fish which are feeding and following and being really interactive, and actually you catch nothing because they've pushed it out of the way. And it's just an explosion of activity, and then peace and calm again. And then you wait until you see the next movement and the next splash of water. And yeah, it was absolutely amazing. So I really would suggest, if it's on your bucket list, is to get it off your bucket list and into the action list. Now, people quite often ask, when is the best time to go? And there isn't really a best time to be there. The timings are all different. Early season, between May, June and early July is when it's at its coolest. But it's still warmer than here. The fish will still be, it's not that it's a bad time to go, it's just when it is at its coolest weather-wise, but you also have the most water in the rivers. And as the season moves through towards the end of October, when the season ends, obviously it gets hotter and the water levels can drop. So just pick the time that you can go and know that you will fish according to the conditions. It's just one of those things. I got unlucky with a cold front. We've had clients who've gone towards the end of September who've had cold fronts. We've had many, many years when there weren't any. It's just the luck of the draw, really. And it's one of those places which is very easy to pack for. I'm used to having to have a very small weight limit going to the Seychelles, and you have a similar weight limit to get into camp, because obviously there's small planes, you've got local canoes, you've got poor guys, you have to carry your bags up huge flights of stairs. So you do need to try to keep it down to the weight limit that you've been asked to do. But you're packing 2 9-weights, maybe a spare if you have one. I didn't, so I just had my 2 very elderly rods, but they did absolutely fine. And my 2 reels, I had 3 reels, spare reel, and that's all you need. You have one set up with a floating line, one set up with an intermediate line with a clear sink tip, and that's all you actually have to take. So you can fish the clear streams, the very shallow ones where your presentation has to be lighter, where you need to use something which is going to get down and right into the structure. then you've got your intermediate, and it's simple. They also have, every single lodge has supplies, so you don't have to pack everything for every single eventuality, and which is a joy, to be honest. They've got lines, they have tippet, they have what is absolute gold dust trying to find here, knottable wire. So I stocked up when I was there because I'm hoping I'll get back to Tanzania soon. That means I can not have to pinch anybody else's. They've got everything there that you could possibly need if anything goes amiss and your luggage doesn't arrive. They can get you fishing. So from the point of view of what you need to have with you, straightforward. You just normal fishing trousers, long shirts, long sleeves, everything that dries, which is what you would have in any case. But the really important thing is felt-soled wading boots rather than rubber, because if you have rubber boots, you'll probably end up slipping all over the place, and you spend most of your time in the river and you're wading, and you really don't want to go down and bang yourself on any of those rocks or get caught up in any of the fast water. It is not, you just try to avoid it. So please, felt soles. I know if we're traveling around Europe and fishing, we are more used to packing rubber-soled boots, but don't be, it will make life much more difficult for you and limit where you can comfortably go. And that really was all you need to have. Rain jacket. Don't forget your rain jacket. Hopefully you never need to use it, but if nothing else, it's very good for putting on as you're moving around, because you all know what it's like in a boat moving. You can get quite cool, and you can feel that you want to be able to just keep warm. Sounds silly, but it happens. And I think that in terms of kit, there really isn't anything that you need to have which is special, which was a pleasure, actually. I was not very organized in my packing as usual, and everything I need for the Seychelles, all my fishing here, I had. Lines were a little harder to get hold of, based here in the UK. Just need a little more time, but I was lucky because I'd been at the fly fishing show in Edison in New Jersey prior to coming, so I was able to stock up on my Scientific Anglers lines there. And they really have fabulous lines which work well with the heat, and I use them in Tanzania as well, because otherwise you get sticky lines. You really don't want sticky lines. So the Scientific Anglers lines work, as I say, exceptionally well, but if you are based in the UK, you may want to allow just a little bit more time to be able to get them. So questions. I was asked earlier if I could just show you some flies. Now, yes, they're all a bit kaput, really, and not in very good condition, I'm afraid. This one got absolutely nailed. It's not a traditional color that they would use. Most of the time it would be black and yellow, black and purple, black and red, and it's quite a small fly. This one's quite small, and as I say, quite beaten up, but it caught fish. It really did work exceptionally well. This is more normal in terms of size-wise, color-wise, and this was my favorite little fly that caught my biggest Dorado on. As you can see, it's a GT fly. It's exceptionally elderly. I'm impressed it's still got both eyes, and it's very small, but it's got a very healthy hook. So if you're tying flies for Bolivia, make sure you're using good saltwater hooks, which are nice and big. And I think that it's just one of those very special places to go. What you don't need to take with you is anything which has got a lot of flashaboo in it. I wouldn't bother. And again, you can buy pretty much everything that you need here, but they do have flies in camp, and they're all exceptionally well tied on brilliant hooks. So don't fret too much. You can always book flies ahead if you want something specific, but you don't need to. They have got everything covered, and you can buy pugliese streamers to take, Andino deceivers, Chernobyl ants, and what else was that? Yeah, I've never actually seen one of these, but apparently a pole dancer works, whatever that might be, and I'm sure someone will tell me shortly. So go with an open mind would really be my best advice. Please listen to guides. They know the river, they know where the fish lie, and never go out with a shopping list. I think that every day, if you can go out and just enjoy what the river's got to offer you, so much the better. There's several camps that you can choose from. It very much depends on what you want to do, the type of fishing you want to do. So that's why we're here. Chat to us. We'll run through the differences. We'll work out what works best for you. But all I can say is please do go. That's really the most important thing, is to stop dreaming about it and make it happen. Go fishing. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for your time. I hope that's been of some use and not too dull. And please do like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please also let us know if this is the kind of format that you like and that you're happy to sit down and watch. But otherwise, take care. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you are able to get out and get fishing. Now, keep well. Bye-bye.